So, you're looking for a house. You figured out what you can afford as far as the principal and interest for the monthly payments. You've figured out what the insurance would be. And now you're going about physically figuring out what you want in a house. I want to talk about some of the considerations that should be made. The first one, and obviously other than price, the first one is going to be location. Where is this property that you're going to live in? And now I'm talking about primarily a single family home, because there's more considerations to be made for a single family home than there would be for a condominium, which I'll cover separately. But for a single family home, first of all, the reason that we're going to talk about these different areas is because it might be counterintuitive, but you need to buy a property that you can sell. If at all possible, you want to take all of the emotional angst and emotional feelings away from the decision to buy a particular house. This is going to put you directly opposite your realtor, the selling broker, the person who is selling the house, the current homeowner, maybe your family, maybe your spouse who's excited about owning either a new home or a home for the first time. So there's a lot of feelings and attachments and things that are going to come into play. So it's very important that you identify your goal. You want a home that will suit your needs, and those are individual to every person, that you can afford and that you can sell. So if you keep that in the forefront, or somebody in the group keep that in the forefront, that should help as a counterbalance, because you're going to go into a property and there's going to be brownies baking. There might be beautiful pictures on the wall, beautiful furnishings, lovely flower gardens, the ice cream truck going down the street, who knows. Might be by your spouse's favorite or partner's favorite store or restaurant. Might be right by work. It could just be too good to be true. But those are all things that might trigger your emotions. And in making a decision on a piece of property, you want it to be based on more objective factors, all leading to the answer the question of how easily can we sell this property. So you will know about the history of this property or the properties in the area you're looking at. What is the turnover rate? What is the current status of this particular neighborhood or area that you have identified? Is it stable? How old are the people who live there? Is it older people now moving out and new families moving in? Is it single professionals? Why or why not? Is it primarily owners or tenants? Why or why not? Is there a homes association? Now that's good and bad. We talk about what a homes association is specifically on another video. But look around. Does it look like the properties are being maintained according to what the requirements might be? How about the public amenities, either the city amenities or community amenities or the homes association amenities? Are they in good repair? What about the streets? Are the streets in good repair? Are there sidewalks? Are there crosswalks if you're nearby a school? Are you near a school? How close is a school? Those properties are more valuable because they're more accessible for younger children to walk to school. That might be a more desirable factor. How close, how big is this particular development? Is it a development at all, or is it a single family home plopped out in the middle of nowhere? Nowhere might be where you want to be, but if it's in a subdivision or a more planned or purposeful community, are you looking at property more insulated, more towards the center, or are you looking at those near a busier street? Is there a cul-de-sac? So those are general guidelines. How far away is the nearest fire station? What about the grocery store? How far away is it from work? If somebody has to work outside of the home, if somebody's working inside of the home, what are the rules on home-based business? Can customers come to the home? What about trees in the area? Do you like yard work? Are there large trees? Are they close to the foundation? What's the condition of the foundation? What about the sidewalks, the driveway? For that matter, what about the slope of the property? Is it flat? That might be really nice. However, is it the lowest property and the neighbors are higher in elevation just by looking? Are there hills that slope down towards this property? Or is this particular property higher and slopes away? Water retention and water building up and water getting into the basement, affecting the foundation, etc., are things you want to consider. Is there a sump pump? Also, what about the material on the roof? Is it composite? Is it shake shingle? We know from our insurance videos that affects insurance rates. What about a swimming pool? Is there a privacy fence or safety fence around the pool? Has the pool been maintained? How old is the pump equipment? Look at the concrete. Look at the liner. Is there a pool service? Is there a contract that could be transferable? What are those fees? All of these things are beyond the principal and interest of the payment, and all go into a factor of, should you buy this house if it fits in with your family or your living situation, and can you sell it? Okay. Then moving on, the size of the structure. So we have whether it's located inside, insulated in the subdivision, or if it's on a busy street. It should be obvious which one is going to be better. It's going to be better if it's inside. Obviously, the price might be more advantageous if you're buying one on the busier street. Maybe you don't have children. Maybe you don't plan to have children. Maybe you don't have pets. That might be good for you. But what about your buyer? So you've got to think about who might buy this from you if you lose your job, if something happens, if there's an illness, if you need to downsize. Those are all considerations, because this is not just your shelter. This is an asset. This is an asset that will appreciate, hopefully, if you take care of it, and it will appreciate in value, and you want at some point to be able to reap that value and take advantage of that investment, to have those funds available if you need to. So then the other considerations, we've gone over that thing. Oh, nearby development. Are there any big wide open spaces nearby? Are there any signs for rezoning? Are there a lot of homes in this one particular area for sale? Why or why not? But again, the most obvious would be a big wide open space. If there's development and then there's one single farmhouse or one single bare piece of land, or maybe it's a large piece of land, what is that going to be used for? Most communities have a planning commission, either on the city or the county level, and they have it master planned. They have an idea of what their zoning density will be in their community. Some are more organized than others. My dad used to laugh and say, I don't want to retire anywhere where there's a skyscraper and a hotel and a gas station and a house. I want it to be more organized, where there's a designated residential, designated commercial, etc. And that's because you want to maintain your property values. So what is nearby? There's a phrase called NIMBY, and a NIMBY means not in my backyard. And the news is replete with stories. They pop up every once in a while where someone says, oh no, they're putting in this, fill in the blank, airport, car dealership, shopping center right next door to us. We don't want that in our neighborhood, not in my backyard. well, who was there first? Yes, maybe the homeowner was there first, but really, what was the master plan for the community? Look around, pay attention, and ask questions. Just like you have a homes association declaration that's recorded for your property, these other things are available. The realtor might not tell you, but you can ask. They might not volunteer it, but you can ask. The people who are trying to sell the property have disclosures most likely that they need to make, but what other people's property nearby is going to be used for is not usually included in that. So you need to be proactive. Open your eyes, ask questions, get information. You may not mind what the answer is, but you may mind what the answer is. And so you need to do your due diligence in investigating these issues before you make an offer on the home, so that you end up with something that will be suitable for your situation, but also will be saleable. Then one final thing is, you never want to have the biggest or most expensive property on the street. Look around. Is this a two-story property and all of the rest are single-story? That may in and of itself not be bad, because depending upon the age of the neighborhood, that you might be buying into something that was improved, the back blown out and a story added, and maybe those plans, you may see dumpsters on the street, maybe others are going to follow suit, but maybe they're not. Or maybe your house was, or the house you're looking at was built as a part of another subdivision, but it was the tail end of it, and now these other properties were built either a smaller size, a smaller lot size, whatever. Take that into consideration. Unless you're going to live there a very, very long time and you are completely stable financially, and selling it is not going to be an issue, even if you had to tear it down to sell the property, you might want to buy it, then go ahead. But otherwise, these other considerations need to be taken into account when you're looking at property. Then again, getting closer onto a particular property, what level of lawn care do you want to have? What gardens are there on the property? What is the maintenance that is required? What about trees? Are they close into the property that they might affect the slab or foundation or sidewalks, or are they further away? Wherever there are trees, there are termites. So you want to make sure that you have those types of inspections. Has there been treatment on the property already for termites? Is the system in place? What about nuts? What about fruits? Do you want fruits and nuts in your backyard? What about flowering shrubs? What about flowering trees? Are the trees evergreen or deciduous? Do the leaves fall in the fall? Are you up to that type of cleanup? Those types of things. So you want to think about the time that you're going to invest in the property, the upkeep that you're going to have, and then the natural lay of the property, the elevation, the drainage, the materials the property's made out of. Brick might look very desirable, but if it's a 30-year-old house, you're going to have to examine the mortar. I had to rebuild a chimney once. There are just different things that are going to have to be carefully inspected. As long as you raise the issue and you ask the questions, you get satisfactory answers, you should be fine. But these are just some of the questions that you should ask, particularly if it's a first-time home buyer.